Make yourself a better guitar player with Rock and Roll Hoochie Koo by Rick Derringer. Sweet song from a long, long time ago. This one is just rocking though. Really good rhythm to it and just makes you want to tap your foot to this thing. It's written in the key of A minor. A minor is a 7-note scale. Happens to be all the natural notes, no sharps, no flats. Oftentimes though with A minor, especially in classic rock and blues, they focus on 5 of the 7 notes of the scale. So they take out 2 notes that are more controversial notes. So say, think of it as like a pack of color crayons. If you need just the basics, you're going to get the little teeny pack and it's going to have your basics, blue and red and yellow and green and that kind of thing. The 7-note scale has more like magenta and fuchsia, or like colors that aren't super popular to it, but they still work. They're a little more picky and tricky to use. So the 5-note scale is more basic. Like, let's get a handle on 5 notes rather than try to make it 7. And that's what's happening here. Penta means 5, tonic means tone, 5-tone scale. And the way we play that, and the way he does it in this song, is it's the note A and C. So it's 0 to 3 on the A string, 0, 2 on the next string, D string, and 0, 2 on the next string. With that, they take the same notes and play them in different spots. So there's sometimes they're playing the same notes in different areas of the neck. So it looks like you're playing a whole bunch of different stuff when you're really kind of sticking with those basic 5 notes. Starts on the double 3s on the 5th string and the 4th string. So it's 3s, 3s, 5, 3s, 5, 5, 7, 5. So it's the same thing, just moved up a fret or 2 frets. And then the A power chord, the open A string with the 2nd fret of the D string. And then this little riff. The way you do that is you play 3 to 4 with the middle finger to the ring finger on the A string. And you'll hit the 3 to 4 and then you'll hit this 2nd fret of the D string. Then an open A string. And then you'll go the middle strings, 5s to 2s to 0s and back to 2s. Now that part is a different answer section, right? It seems the same, but instead of going up like this, you'll go to the 2 middle strings, 5, 7, 5s. The next 2 thicker strings, 5, 7, 5, so 5th string and 4th string. And then you'll hit the 7th fret and the 9th fret on the 2 middle strings. That happens to be an A power chord just like this. Just in a higher octave, right? And then he gets that chunking rhythm. So you want to keep the vibe and the rhythm, but there's no note there. So you're just touching the strings. So you just do that kind of as a feel. So I'm touching the strings and scratching them like this. You just try to mimic the rhythm there, but all the notes are muted out. Then, before you go into the next little part, you'll hit 3 to 0 on the fat string. Now that's the note E, right? When you're in the A scale, A, B, C, D, E, E is considered the 5th note of the A scale. The 5th note gives you the most dramatic feel of wanting to go back to the original starting note. So it was described to me this way in a book I read. It said, if you're in the key of A is like you're at home, you're at rest, you're comfortable. Other chords, you're out driving around, you're doing something, you're comfortable still, but you're kind of on an adventure. You get to the end of your night, you really want to go home, That's the E chord here. The 5th chord makes you want to, it's just at your peak before you just want to go back to bed or go back home and rest. So when you hit the E, there, to make it even more dramatic, he'll do a slide on the D string from C sharp to D. So it's 11 to 12. Now it's 2 different guitar parts. So one is, right, one is hitting the E, one is hitting this. And the next time through, it hits 2 notes, right? It's the 11 to 12 still, but it takes an octave higher than that. It's the 14th fret of the B string with the 11th fret of the D string. So I put my fingers and lock them down here and then slide my hand up 1 fret. Like that. And that's the setup to go to the verse. The verse is back to the key of A. So it's open A string and the 2 middle strings, 2nd fret, and then the 5th fret, 2 middle string, and throw in A's in between. And then we hit this little riff. It's really fun to play. It's the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. So hit the 2nd fret twice and then an open note. Then you're going to go to the D string and go 2, 1, 0. Then the A string, the 5th string to number 3. And finally the last note back to A right here, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. The next time through he does the same exact riff, but instead of going to the high A note here, he goes to the A string down here. Second time. So it resolves on the lower A instead of the higher octave A. But that's the verse. Whoops. Then we get to the chorus. It's 2 Fs, so it's the 1st fret and 3rd fret. Another chunkies, right? And do the same thing after G. And then you hit the double A's, which you can do here, but I would do it down here because we want to hit that little riff afterward. Right? Then we have same end as before, same other part as before. So that covers all the parts without going to every little part. There are some lead parts, there's a little more to the song, and when you look at this, there's really 3, I think at least 3 guitar tracks going on. So they'll record a rhythm track, they'll go back and re-record over and add another guitar doing something a little different and add in the pieces so they can layer really nicely and you don't have any conflicts of trying to zip to get to a part. So I did a conglomeration, so you have an idea of, like if you were in a 1 guitar band, you had to perform this live, you'd kind of do these parts like that. So anyway, key of A minor, simplifying it down to a 5-note scale. And then they're throwing in a couple blues notes in there, which are passing notes they get away with to kind of make it sound more bluesy. But that's a whole nother lesson, right? So we'll leave that for another time. But I appreciate what your thoughts are on this one. If you've heard this one before, it's a really old song. A lot of people, are you still familiar with this one? It's classic rock, Rick Derringer. Anyway, appreciate your feedback and your like and your subscribe.